Good morning / afternoon / evening, everybody. I am SouthPawRacer. Here with something a little bit different this time. It's a vlog type thing where you don't see my face, and I basically just talk about something semi-seriously. Definitely not my regular kind of content, but we'll see how this goes. If you want to see more stuff like this, be sure to tell me. This is just a test run. I've decided to call this SouthPawRacer's Soapbox, or something like that. This is also the debut of my my new microphone that I'm going to be using for YouTube and for my broadcasting stuff on V8's Online. I got myself a Blue Yeti. I got it gifted to me, rather. Thank you very much to Scott Fontaine from V8's Online for this very generous gift. I will definitely be putting it to very good use. On with the video. Today, I will be talking about the Nissan GT-R LM Nismo, one of motorsport's biggest stories of 2015 for not all the right reasons. I will be completely honest here, I loved this car. I loved it when it was revealed, and in spite of all that happened, I still love it now. It was an LMP1 car, already the coolest race cars in the world, in my opinion. It was projected to produce 1,250 horsepower with its electric propulsion systems fully deployed. That's over 932 kilowatts. That's insane enough already. But it was almost designed to make 2,000 horsepower. It's crazy. And then the real bomb was dropped. This thing was front engine, front wheel drive. I didn't believe it at first. I legitimately thought it was a typo. But as it sunk in that, yes, Nissan were being serious about this, I quickly realized something. As we were given some time to process what the fuck Nissan was throwing at us, I told my friends, this is one of those off-the-wall, batshit crazy race cars that only comes once in an era. Just about every generation has, you know, that car. Something that bucks the trends and or makes you question the sanity of whoever built it. And on either end of the scale of race car impact, it can soar, defining the future of race car design, or it can crash and burn, fading into obscurity as the punchline of a historical joke. For Nissan, it seems closer to the latter. In the course of a single year, their campaign went from, "We're going to race in the WEC and take the fight to the other manufacturers," to, "We're not going to turn up to the first few races, we need to test some more, but we'll be racing at Le Mans, so that's okay," to, "Le Mans is just a big test session for us. Also, we'll be running internal combustion engine only," to, "We're going to try and improve the car so we can try again in 2016, to, "We're not doing this anymore. Also, we fired our employees via email 3 days before Christmas. Happy holidays." The project went out with a resounding whimper. There were many fans out there who were very quick to make fun of Nissan, laying the sarcasm on thick as fondant on a wedding cake. But I find all of this quite sad, really, because had things been different, we may have seen something that wasn't as much of a damp squib as the GT-R LM Nismo program turned out to be. There seemed to be an implication among critics at the time, and I use the word critics very loosely here, that it was a failure purely because it was front-wheel drive, but I disagree. I mean, for pure engineering reasons, front-wheel drive is not a superior drivetrain by any stretch. I mean, I don't think anyone's under that illusion. But what Ben Bowlby and his team were doing with the aero and engineering to make it work was astounding, and really quite interesting for us fans who are into the how and why of race car engineering. I mean, look at this. That's some tight packaging. A wet dream for any automotive engineer. And at the back, check that out. Those double tunnels going all the way through the car where the rear axle would be, you could lose a pet in those. And before they decided to go front-wheel drive only, the electric motor would have driven the rear wheels through shafts that went up and over the tunnels to keep them out of the airflow. Who does that? The rear tyres were 5 inches narrower than the front tyres to help the car's relative grip front to rear. It had a 5-speed gearbox in an era of LMP1 where 7 speeds is the norm. One of the most radical race car designs in years. only matched in insanity by the Delta Wing, another Bowlby creation incidentally. It was going to be a serious candidate among the fastest front-wheel drive cars in history. And a reminder, it was an LMP1 car. A front-wheel drive LMP1 car. On paper, this thing had everything it needed to cause a big upset in the World Endurance Championship, and Nismo knew it. From a marketing and social media standpoint, I don't think Nissan could have done a better job. In fact, they almost did it too well. They hit all the marks, they built the hype, they used the tools they were given. A unique idea, coverage in the automotive press, an active internet presence, hashtags, audience engagement, the nostalgia livery. Oh, God. Hint, hint, everyone else. This is how you build a brand. This is something for the overpriced university textbooks. Apart from one important thing. If you're going to build hype, you need to be able to back it up, otherwise it'll backfire on you massively, and that's what happened to Nissan. They didn't back up the hype. I mean, yeah, they got to Le Mans. They had a half-functioning car, but by the end of the year, they'd gotten somewhere that the suits and bean counters evidently weren't very happy with, and the entire thing was scrunched up and thrown in the bin. Brand exposure, yeah. Got people talking about you, yeah. A legacy? Probably not the one they wanted. And the reason for that is very simple. They just weren't ready. This thing ran at Le Mans without KERS. The internal combustion engine by itself, the 3-litre twin-turbo V6, produced 550 horsepower, but the total figure with the hybrid system was a projected 1,250 horsepower. The car was running at less than half its capability. I mean, yeah, the electrics on LMP1s aren't full-time, but you can physically see the difference they make out of the corners. Look at that fucking punch. 20 seconds a lap slower than the people they set out to compete with, and way down on top speed. That's what Nissan had to deal with because they didn't have their electric power unit ready in time. Or more accurately, the one supplied to them by Toro Track simply wasn't good enough. Not to mention that reliability was nothing to write home about either. They told drivers to stay off the curbs because the suspension wasn't suited to them. At Le Mans, a track where everyone eats curbs with their cereal for breakfast. Why did all this happen? Because they weren't ready, and time ran out for them. They tested some more, and then it was canned. I have to think, had they just given themselves more time, had the higher-ups not pulled the plug, had they been allowed to continue into 2016 and beyond, what might we have seen? You might argue, very justifiably, that all the testing in the world may not have saved the car because it was a flawed design to begin with, and I concede you may be right about that. But at the same time, there's no way of knowing for sure. If Nissan did all they were saying they were going to do and completed the car and returned to Le Mans this year with their concepts fully realized and operating at maximum capability and still failed, then at least we'd know it was a true failure. But we don't. We never had the chance to truly see what this car was capable of. We probably never will. And that's what really kills me about all this. The fact that Nissan was treating this whole thing as seriously as they did, to me, was a sign that there was some kind of substance here, some method to the madness. It all proved a bit too much for the company, evidently, and they decided to focus more on success that was less difficult to come by. But at the same time, we shouldn't condemn Nissan for daring to be different. And who's to say whether at some point in the future someone may come along, run with the same ideas, and get some success out of them? That's how a lot of tech we see today came about. I mean, look at the reaction people had when electric power and hybrids were brought out for the first time, and see where the technology is now. The point I'm trying to make here is innovation never comes easy or cheap. Behind every great success story, there are countless failures and mistakes, laced with could-haves, should-haves, and would-haves. We just saw one of those as it was happening. Could Nissan have had a winner on their hands? Maybe. Did they mess it up? Of course they did. Should they be reduced to the punchline of a historical joke? I hesitate to say for sure. Thanks for watching once again, and have a good one. I am SouthPawRacer, I'm a sim racer, I make videos of that and other stuff, and I will see you at the first corner. Goodbye.